Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio, and my guest at this time, people should be familiar with. She's been on the show before. She is the promoter for some great bands, including Love Bone and Roy Costin, Hammer Down Hard, Chicago drummer Gabrielle Anthony, the Las Vegas, Nevada Ultimate Guns N' Roses tribute band Welcome to the Rock Show, Lords of Salem, Milan, Italy Ultimate Motley Crue tribute band Motley Gang, Canadian session bassist Ronnie Robson, Dead West,
Ironia, Scanners, Eric Avila,
Shameful Behavior, Las Vegas drummer Robert Wiggin, As the World Burns, 3 Points of Madness, melodic rock band Power, Crazy Days, Kenny McGee, Dan Crenshaw and Garden of Eden, bassist Rick Fox, Greg Golden Band, Mitch Perry Band, Prima Donna Rising, Corners of Sanctuary. She also works with mixing and sound engineer Jason Ruck, mastering engineer James Forbes, pro player designer creator Angela Gambino, and Arkansas promoter Axel
Albrecht.
Please welcome Christina Avila.
Hey guys.
I just listed some killer bands, a very long list of great bands that you are currently working with. Kind of want to start when you find and promote bands, what do you look for in a band? Because I listed some really great bands.
I mean, I'm not really picky and choosy. I guess I'm just not picky and choosy. Any, thing that comes my way, anything new, fresh, exciting. It could be newer stuff, it could be older stuff. There really isn't anything out there that it comes to when I'm choosing bands. I'm just happy to support the music scene, especially right now with this virus going on where there are no tours, there's no shows. Everything's kind of on a hold. So that's basically what I look at.
Yeah, bands are really struggling right now, especially as you said, with no shows going on, that they need people on their side supporting them. They need people to support and get the word out about these great bands with all the great music that they have going on.
Right, exactly.
And you go international too. I listed some Italian bands. There's Canadian session bassist Ronnie Robson. So you don't just stick with the U.S.
No, in fact, there's another Argentinian metal band called Syna, Syna, and they're from Buenos Aires, and that's another new project coming out. Their guitar player is the same guitar player from Ironia. His name is Marcel Pinto, and they were really cool, in your face. And then there's a Chilean guitarist. He's from Santiago, Chile, named Eric Avila. He's not my cousin. Sorry. He actually lives in, I thought he lives in Finland right now.
Oh, wow.
And he did a YouTube thing a couple of months ago, and he's just amazing. He makes that guitar sing. He's like another Carlos Santana of this generation. He's just so powerful. So yeah, international also.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool that you don't just stick in the U.S. You're always looking for more bands, and you don't just stay in the comfort zone of they're from the U.S. You go, well, what's Italy doing? What's obviously South America, and I think that is really cool.
Thank you. There's even a band from Italy. I can't remember where they're from exactly, but their name is Scanners, and they're another metal band from Italy. And wow, they're amazing. Their lead guitar player, his name is Thomas Valenti, and their lead singer's name is Claudio Scanners. And they're working on a new video. They're working on some new stuff right now. So anybody check out Scanners. They're another Skanners. They're amazing also.
Yeah, I've actually when I had my radio show playing some of their music, and they're really good metal music. So if you're looking for new metal music to listen to, please check out Scanners.
Yes, they need the support from the U.S. and all over too. They're excited to have anyone from all over promote their music.
And what the nice thing about with the internet,
it is easier to connect with other people and especially bands.
A band like Scanners in Italy could put out some really great music in their country, and us in America, we can still appreciate it.
Right, exactly.
Christina, obviously, as you said, there's no shows going on. So how have you been staying busy?
I've been asking the musicians for their MP3s to submit them to some radio DJs. I also have been featured, I believe this will be the 5th time, in this metal magazine in London. It's called the Metal Mag. Unfortunately, they're on lockdown right now. So I don't know when they're going to be able to publish any new articles for their magazines. But I've been asking musicians for questions and answers, mentioning a deadline to submit their info to me so I can submit to this magazine. The name of the owner is Marcel Fabio, and anyone can find the Metal Mag on Facebook or look up their website to see what their music magazine looks like. Articles, all kinds of musicians are in. I've also been asking musicians if they would be interested in working with Super Cool Radio's own Matthew Thomas. So many musicians, Matt, are so excited to get their interviews for next year. And that's basically what's been keeping me busy.
Sounds like you got a lot of great work going on.
Thank
Metal Bag,
you.
very cool, out of the UK. Plus, I mean, I am super cool.
Yes, super cool.
So it sounds like you've been doing a lot of great work, working closely with the musicians you are promoting, and it sounds like everything's going really good.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very blessed, very excited, I'm very happy.
I got a very fun question for you. I'm very curious. So
Okay.
if you were stuck on an island and you can only listen to one band, but you can listen to their whole discography, who would you listen to, Christina?
Wow, that's a tough one because I have so many genres of music that I'm into. Wow. I would say Carlos Santana. He really inspires me. When he was with his band doing his solo music, he's just phenomenal. Of course, he's well known in the 70s and the 80s by his collaborations. He's someone that's just, you can just listen to his music and it's just very relaxing, smooth, but then you have that guitar riff that just blows you away. And he's been around for so many years and he's collaborated with so many musicians. So that's definitely somebody that I would definitely be checking their discography on. Carlos Santana has inspired so many musicians, and he's definitely inspired me also, being half Cuban, half Spaniard also. So Carlos Santana, definitely.
That is a very good pick. I completely agree with you about, his music style. Some of the stuff, like some of his songs are like really chill and you can vibe with, but then like he hits you with those guitar riffs and it's just amazing.
Yes, definitely.
Great guitarist who has inspired so many musicians. Even if they don't play guitar, you can still learn a lot from Carlos Santana.
Definitely, definitely.
So for me, I'm going Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's who I'm listening to.
Nice. Wow, very cool. He's another one.
Yeah, I got to watch a little, I guess it was kind of a documentary, and they were showing Austin City Limits, and they had Stevie Ray Vaughan. And just seeing him live, how fast he can play that guitar and have it sound so good.
Right.
Super impressive.
Definitely, definitely.
I know he only made music for like 7 years, before, the helicopter crash, but man,
Right.
just so impressive with everything he did and his style
Definitely,
too.
definitely. And that cool hat, his whole cool dress attire, and just that guitar speaking to you. Wow.
Yeah. Not only his guitar style, but I just said with the hat, and he always had like colorful and different shirts on. That style and that's charisma that you just can't teach people.
No.
And I always ask my guests this question. Kind of goes along with the first one or the last one I just asked, but a little bit of a twist. Christina, what music have you been listening to this week?
Well, it's been a while, but I think focusing more on Van Halen since the passing of Eddie Van Halen. Been listening to a mix of David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar, both very talented musicians in their own way. But Eddie Van Halen just meant so much to me. For never meeting the guy, I've been watching some of his documentaries where he was he was in the public eye all the time, but so many things about him you did not know. Like, I did not know that he was Dutch American. He was 8 years old when he came to the United States with his dad and his brother and his family, and they left and they were 8 years old. Him and his brother were 8 years old when they came to the United States, and they lived in California. He also had such an awareness for music education, things like that. No one really knew about Eddie Van Halen. About 11 years ago, I called up our local radio station here in Connecticut, and I was just calling to hear Summer Nights, one of my favorite Van Halen songs with Sammy Hagar. And the DJ asked if I wanted to say hello to somebody, and I said, sure. Sure enough, it was Eddie Van Halen. And I was just so nervous. I didn't know what to say to him, and we just ended up talking about pizza. And then they played the song, and it was just so remarkable. So yeah, Van Halen has definitely been something I've been listening to a lot this week, especially it's summer nights. A lot of the songs that haven't been played on the radio as much. Run Around, Pound Cake. Oh boy, Feels So Good. Can't Stop Loving You. Even when he did an album with Gary Sharon from Extreme. That's something. But yeah, Eddie Van Halen's definitely, his music is definitely something I've been listening to a lot of this week.
He's another great guitarist who's inspired so many people. And
Yes.
like you said, I actually didn't know. Came over to the United States as a child. I did not know that.
Yes, and him and Alex, if you look it up on YouTube, there's some videos of him and his brother speaking in fluent Dutch.
Oh wow.
They spoke their native language, yes. Yes.
That's very impressive. And another
Yes.
great legend that sadly that obviously passed away this year very recently.
Right.
But he just inspired so many people with the way he played music and just those solos. You hear an Eddie Van Halen solo when you hear it.
Right. Definitely. And he was young, so young, but it will never be left. His music goes on like Stevie Ray Vaughan. They never leave us. Their music is still around. When you have those days where you just feel worthless or sad or whatever, and you put their music on, it just brings such joy to you, their music. So I encourage to really get, into listening to Eddie Van Halen and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and look on YouTube, find documentaries, music, or stories of about their lives that they just didn't want the public to know, because the public, unfortunately, with the media, the way that media is, not all the time, but lately the media is only focusing on the negative, where there's so many positive things about these musicians that we just don't know about. So I definitely encourage people to tune in and find documentaries or YouTube things about Eddie Van Halen, Stevie Ray Vaughan, or your favorite artist, your favorite musician, your favorite band. There's so much out there. That's good stuff that we can all learn from and we can all relate to and we can enjoy, especially times like this right now with this COVID virus, where it's affecting so many people and how we're living and what we're going through. Or even if you can find at your local bookstore or Amazon or your library, if your libraries are opened, maybe these musicians even have biographies that you can rent to read up about them. It's interesting stuff. It's good stuff.
Yes, you made a lot of great points, especially actually going back a little bit, you actually got to speak to Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't know that. For how much we talk, I did not know that. And that, even if it wasn't like a long conversation, you still got to speak to Eddie Van Halen.
I was so nervous when the DJ said to me, "Would you like to say hello to Eddie Van Halen?" And I said to him, okay. What do I say to him? Talk about whatever comes to your mind. And he said hello to me, and I asked him, well, do you like to eat pizza? And he said, yes, I like pizza. And I don't remember if we were talking about toppings, but we were just talking about pizza and how pizza is so good for the spirit and it's so good for the soul and it's good to eat. So, yeah, Eddie Van Halen like pizza. There you go.
Well, that's very cool that you just got, not even talking about music, you could still have a conversation with him.
One thing that I learned, and I can share this with anyone, if you ever meet a musician or if you go to a concert and you meet them or do a meet and greet, the one thing you don't want to talk about because they hear it so much is about their music or about their band or their former band. Anyone out there, if you're going to meet someone, talk about food, talk about sports, talk about the weather, talk about things like that, because they hear it so much, the music, and it just, after a while for them, they just want to feel like regular human beings. Maybe even if you want to get, for example, I had gotten a White Lion DVD, and it talked about Mike Tramp, if anybody ever wants to get a chance to meet Mike Tramp. When I got to meet him twice, he's a huge Thin Lizzy fan. He even has a Phil Lynott tattoo on his shoulder, on his right shoulder. And whenever he does sound check to the song Jailbreak. If anybody, before they meet someone, if they know someone's coming to town, maybe get a DVD or watch a documentary or something about their life and kind of talk about, their history or what kind of food they like, if they're into sports or whatever. But the music thing just doesn't always go well. Some bands, don't mind it. But the majority of them, because they're in it so much, they just want to feel like human beings. a lesson learned from me.
Yeah, it's very good advice. If you talking to musicians and bands, I always try to stay current with what they're doing, so at least it's at least somewhat fresh
Right,
and new.
right. I know, right. A couple of times I met some well-known musicians, and I was trying to have a conversation about their current music, their current thing that they're doing. They just kind of turned away, walked away from me, and I had to apologize and try to talk about something else. And if you bring up food, that always seems to be the good thing for the musicians because, hey, who doesn't like to eat? We all like to eat, whether we like meat or whether we like to eat vegetables. Cooking and food goes well with anybody. Ask them if they like to go to McDonald's or what do they prefer, a burger or with cheese or a burger without cheese, pizza. You never know what your results are going to be like.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I mean, we're all human. We all have to eat at some point. So,
right.
Very, very relatable.
Definitely.
Christina, thank you so much for being on Super Cool Radio again. Second time this year. We got Christina Avila.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Matthew, so much for supporting me. Thank you for encouraging me, empowering me, for being so enthusiastic to me. Thank you for having Ronnie, Roy, and Lonnie on your show. Thank you for supporting musicians that I've sent you to. Thank you in general for what you do. We need more guys like you out there spreading the love, spreading the kindness about musicians and music. So I just want to give a special shout out to you. You are just an amazing individual. So I want to say thank you for everything that you've been doing for me too.
Of course, and thank you for your nice and kind words. Yeah, I just try to support the independent and up and coming music because it kind of gets shied away from
Right.
other places. So it's something that I think people should discover and listen to.
Right. Definitely.
I got one more thing before we go. I know last time we talked, I kind of ended the interview with the same question, but I want to see how it's changed in the last couple months. So what are your future plans for the rest of this year and looking into 2021?
Well, for this year, I'm just going to stick to trying to get questions and answers for this magazine. I just don't know what's going to happen in Europe, how long they're going to be in lockdown for. I'm still going to refer musicians to you, Matthew, for interviews for next year. That's all. That's really going to be happening. As far as 2021, we'll see what happens. Every state is different. Each coast is different. For Connecticut, there's probably not going to be anything happening until maybe spring or summer of 2021 when the weather gets warmer. We have a new theater that's supposed to be built next year. It's an amphitheater. So we'll have some really good live outdoor shows. It just depends on how this thing goes with this virus. But there's some really cool theaters, nice big venues. I'm hoping to get Love Bone to come to Connecticut. Maybe Hammer Down Hard would do a gig in a nice theater here in Connecticut. There's another theater called the Fairfield Theater Company where they have all kinds of bands. So probably next year, probably like March or April, hopefully bands, or even the fall of 2021. Hopefully some bands, I can get referred to coming to Connecticut to play some shows. So I'm excited about that.
That sounds very cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's always cool, bringing in bands. I've done, for a couple of shows, I've asked bands to, show up, and it's kind of cool. Like you had a hand in making this show possible.
Yes, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of patience because sometimes the owners of the venues or the booking people don't get back to you right away. Sometimes it could be somebody else, or sometimes these booking people, they might want to speak to the band themselves instead of talking to me, which is fine. I've had that happen a couple of times, but it's in the end, if things happen, they happen for the right reason. And if they don't, that's okay. You just move on and you try to find something else or find another band to come here. But things always work out. You just have to have patience.
Exactly. I couldn't say anything better than myself. So then
Yes.
Christina, thank you so much for being on Super Cool Radio. Everyone, please check out her very impressive roster of bands, and she's always adding new and interesting bands. So please check her out. She's got a promotions page, and it's got some great information on there as well.
And if anybody's interested, I have an Instagram page where I do some postings also. It is Crazy Cuban 73. My business artists and promotions page is www.facebook.com/crazycuban73. And then because there's some Christina Avilas out there on Facebook, my page, the background is my Christina Avila Artist Band promotion and a super cool logo that's red and black. And my profile picture is a black and white picture of my parents when they attended their prom together, who I lost my dad 9 years ago, and I just recently lost my mom 8 months ago. Bless them both. I miss them. I love them very much. But that's dedicated to them. So if anybody wants to find me, that's the best way that anyone can contact me.
Yes, great description to hit up Christina Avila. I also like that your profile picture, your main one, is dedicated to your parents.
Thank you.
It sounds like you have a very strong connection with both of your parents.
Yes, they influenced me to music as a kid. My father was from Cuba, and he came here in 1949. He left Cuba, and my mom's from here, but her family's from the Middle East. And I have 3 older sisters, and Saturdays was about American Bandstand. And then when MTV was really up and running, I would come home from high school or middle school and call up the 1-800-MTV line to try to get a request in. So my parents always allowed music in the house, whether it was Spanish music, Middle Eastern music, pop, rock, whatever. Music was something that they always believed was therapy, or something we can just listen to as a family and kind of hang out or go into a family gathering or a party. So music would be on and everybody would just get up and dance and just have a good time and forget about your problems and your worries. So without my parents, I couldn't do without what I'm doing today. So yeah, my pages. Also, I have 2 email addresses if anybody wants to get a hold of me. It is avila.christina, CHRISTINA, @AOL.com. Or I have another email address. It's crazycuban41@gmail.com. Anyone can reach out to me on either of those email addresses as well.
Thank you so much, Christina, for all the information. And if anyone, any bands or any people are looking for, great promoter and a great contact, please hit up Christina Avila and please check out all the great music she promotes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you for everything. And tomorrow I'm going to start posting about this new band called Sina from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and any other new bands that I'm going to be working with. Anyone can check out my page at any time.
Very cool. Always looking forward to all the new music that you obviously either share with me or bring to my attention because I always dig all of it. So thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you.
As always, thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
Look forward to all the great things you're currently working on, all the great music you have lined up. So thank you so much, Christina Avila.
Thank you, Matt, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of this week and have a good night, be safe, have fun, and rock and roll never dies. If you ever need something to quick pick you up, listen to some good music. That will definitely bring a smile to your face.
Yes, music is good for the soul. It's therapy.
Definitely, indeed.